Perfectionism. It's an artist's double-edged sword. It can either work for you or against you. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Or maybe a combination of both? Either way, today we're going to get to the bottom of it. Hello. Welcome back to the channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Samantha. I'm an artist and creator here on YouTube. And this channel is all about inspired living for multi-passionates and creatives. Here, I'll share some tips and tricks on how to live your life authentically as somebody who is a creative being. And I will be sharing my own journey as well. Speaking of sharing my own journey, let me show you something I worked on in October of last year that I am only now getting to edit. Hello. Welcome to the downward view. Today is the first time I'm ever showing a gouache painting on this channel. For those of you who are not familiar, I'm going through a 100 portraits challenge. This is portrait number 36 out of 100. For every 10 portraits, I change my medium. So far, I've done pencil, colored pencil, watercolor, and now gouache. And why did I want to bring in gouache alongside the topic of perfectionism? Well, you see, when I started my watercolor journey, at least, it was very methodical and a type of medium where you had to plan things out. The better your sketch underneath, the better the painting that you had as a result. Well, when I started painting in gouache, that was kind of all out the window because gouache is very different from watercolor in a sense that it is opaque. It is opaque, meaning you can layer paint on top of it. You can keep layering paint and keep layering paint. You can essentially hide what you had underneath it. So if you plan correctly and possibly start with lighter colors in the beginning, it can still act like watercolors. But I came across this amazing artist. Her name is Emily Hughes, and the way she used gouache is kind of how I also learned how to paint with oils eventually. Using gouache teaches you to sculpt your painting and paint more intuitively because you don't know what the last thing that you're gonna see will be, but you trust the process to know that whatever comes out will be for the best result, as long as you trust yourself. And I found out that trusting yourself is probably going to be the best tool that you have to overcome perfectionism. Here's an age-old creative scenario. You're starting something, but you're frozen and you don't know where to start. And you keep trying to start, but you're always in your head. Or you are trying to complete something, but every time you go back, you keep fiddling with it and fiddling with it. And you never know when to stop until it turns out uglier than it was before. These are different ways that perfectionism can come up in the creative process. But why do we become perfectionists in the first place? In order to understand this, we need to understand what perfectionism actually is. And a quick Merriam-Webster search says that perfectionism is a disposition to regard anything short of perfection as unacceptable. Perfectionists are also said to set very unrealistic, extremely high standards, not only for themselves, but even for others or society. And this is often driven by a fear of failure or needing to be accepted. There are many reasons why anyone would be able to develop this personality trait. But clearly, there are some common factors. First of all, if you have overly critical parents or guardians who watch your every move, you are expected to be perfect. And if you deviate from that, you might get punished or challenged. And then there is my example, where I sought perfectionism out as an escape or a way to protect me. because I was the youngest growing up, and a lot of people found me amusing because I was the youngest. I was kind of fun, jolly, happy. I also provided a lot of entertainment because I knew how to sing, and everybody would always ask me to sing. But I ended up developing this personality trait because I thought that if I could entertain everyone, or that if everybody liked me, then they can possibly forget about their own problems. And I could also have more opportunities as a result. And as a child, I definitely inherently sought more opportunities. See, when I was growing up, my family, as amazing as they are, we financially struggled a lot and we didn't have that much stability. It was because of my auntie that I was able to go through high school. All throughout high school, she was there financially supporting us. And I grew up with my auntie and my cousins as my neighbors. And with them around, and I saw how much my cousins were very different in their own right, but all very smart, very studious. They did well in school. Aside from my cousins, I also saw that some of my older sisters had a lot of opportunities going for them. I saw how hard they work and how diligently they had their work ethic. And I saw that if you worked hard and if you went to school, you would have, again, more opportunities for you once you graduate high school or once you pursue a higher education. And I think subconsciously that really affected me. And thus, perfectionism became one of my strongest personality traits. This outer influence shaped me as a person. It made me want to do better for myself and strive to do more and accomplish many things, which I have accomplished many things in my life. However, the dark side to all of this is my own idea of self-worth. I thought that I was only worthy of a good life if I showed up every day perfect, if I didn't miss a beat, if I didn't miss a step. And that still manifests sometimes in my own life currently. But I'm really trying to find a way to balance this seemingly positive and negative trait at the same time. It really just depends if you let perfectionism take the driver's seat in your everyday life. My sister even said, instead of making perfectionism the driver, the one making conscious decisions, you can make it a board member that you can consult for specific things. For example, if I'm baking, I definitely want to have a little bit of perfectionism in there so that I know that I'm making a specific recipe a certain way. Like baking is a science. It's not just something that you can, throw things together and expect a cake to rise. Overall, in order to overcome perfectionism, we need to switch from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, where there is no end-all be-all punishment for not being perfect. As human beings, we are allowed to mess up. It's actually character development. If we never mess up, it's kind of like we don't live life. We always live life in a box where we know exactly what's going to happen. But life is all about the challenges and the unexpected things along the way. And you'll never really know how to deal with it unless you just do. In fact, the more you do things that are challenging, scary, and out of your wheelhouse, the more you are able to develop confidence in yourself, in your skill set, and ultimately to what I was referring to earlier in this video, the more you're going to be able to trust yourself to make the right decisions. Another good way to overcome perfectionism is to set realistic goals or break down your goals into phases. Breaking your goals or your tasks into smaller steps make it easier for your brain to digest that, hey, I did pretty good today. One way I deal with that is by doing the bullet journal method, where I write out all my tasks and then I X them out for the day. And every time that I X them out, it's just a little dopamine fix and a little good job pat on the back for me. And if I don't complete something, I won't be too hard on myself. There is always tomorrow. Usually if I set about 3 major tasks, I'm already pretty stoked about that. Another amazing idea is to have lower standards, like your minimum standards. Then you have a medium standard or a high standard for yourself. For example, when it comes to the practice of drawing or creating art, I have a very low bar sketchbook, a sketchbook that is super rough and ready, where I do my drafts, where I do my initial sketches, where I do my brainstorming. And if you look at it, it is not that cute. It's not that cute at all, but it's not for anyone to see except for me. This is where I flush out my ideas, and it's very low bar effort. Now, for example, this sketchbook that you're seeing on here is a little bit more polished. I'm doing this 100 heads challenge, but when it comes to the 100 heads challenge, I don't have a deadline. I just want to keep working on it when I can. And I am not putting this like added pressure on myself to finish it. Really, I've been working on this for 3 years, and in the process, I've been able to learn 3 different mediums that I've been able to use hand in hand with each other. And I don't know, I think that's a great win-win for me. One more very important thing that I want to talk about when it comes to this topic is making sure to prioritize your energy and your rest. Because if you can't show up 100% for yourself, I don't know if you can show up 100% for anyone else. You are a priority. You are enough. And you deserve to take care of yourself, to show yourself some compassion. So if you're feeling a little bit stretched, if you're feeling like you're overcommitting to either social obligations or professional obligations, lighten your load. There is no shame in that at all. One of the most helpful things that you can do for yourself, and as a result for everybody else, is to make sure to regulate your nervous system. Get some ample rest and find ways to calm yourself down, whether it be meditation, maybe an exercise, maybe walks, some quiet moments in the morning just to yourself. Don't think that that's not important, because it is. Finally, the last thing I have to say is that you probably know by now that perfectionism is not really the enemy. At the end of the day, it's a survival mechanism that has been placed in our psyche to help protect us. But remember, you are in control of your life. You are the main character, not perfectionism. So it would be nice for you to be a little bit more discerning as to whether or not you need perfectionism's help. At the end of the day, life is about letting go, having fun, and going with the flow of what can unfold in every moment. All right, all this blabbering, and I am done with my painting. That was a little bit hard. I kind of went back and forth, but I truly enjoyed this process. I loved drawing the subject, and it was such a fun color palette. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell for more videos on this channel. I plan to make a lot more of them this year. And finally, check my website if you want to see some stickers that I've worked on. Thank you for being here. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.